Hello, welcome to a van vlog. Where have you been? Oh no, hang on, it's me that's been absent, isn't it? Sorry about that. I have been dealing with some personal matters, and you won't be surprised to hear have not got in the slightest bit around to fixing the bed legs, despite many suggestions on the last video. I am about to set off in the van towards Doncaster, a campsite called Willow Fields. I've been there once before, but I didn't film. They are hosting a self-builders van meet thing all weekend, which hopefully should be interesting, although the weather forecast is a bit patchy, as these things often are. So I shall head up various motorways, arriving in Doncaster in about 3 hours-ish, apparently, according to Google. But my journey was not to be swift, with slow traffic almost immediately due to roadworks on the M42 going around Birmingham. This was extremely tedious. Well, I am about an hour into my journey, and the sat-nav tells me that the estimated time of arrival keeps getting later and later by some considerable margin. There seems to be some jam up ahead on the M1, so I've stopped into a motorway services station, bought some coffee, thrown the coffee down my front, which was painful and embarrassing because I did it in the middle of the car park. I've also bought myself some snacks, so I'm going to eat and just see if the jam up ahead manages to sort itself out. And if not, I guess I just have to plough on through it. The satellite navigation is not coming up with a better route. At last I made it past the M6 toll road slip, and from there the motorway seemed clear. But no, there were further jams, some for no readily apparent reason, and others like this, where some very unfortunate person had broken down in lane 3, all on their own they were, with no sign of the traffic officers, who were presumably en route. After a lot of frustration going up the M1, the M18 was quiet, and I turned off onto country roads towards the village of Haxey, where the campsite is located.
Your destination is on the right.
You go down an infinitely long gravel path and end up at this gate. Hooray! I'd made it, and so had quite a few others it seemed, despite at least 4 other major van events going on round the country the same weekend. Well, I've spent the afternoon having a little browse around the various vans and chatting to people. There is a bring and buy sale here tomorrow, and I know there's going to be lots of interesting stuff to browse around. I've slightly preempted it. I've bought myself a rivet gun and a load of rivets. I don't have anything to rivet, but it's a rivet gun. Who could not buy it? Exactly. I knew you'd agree. Evening dawned. Well, you know what I mean. And people gathered in social circles, some round their own campfires next to their vans, others at the bar and clubhouse, which this campsite is blessed with. Spirits were high, and a genial evening of drinks and chat ensued. Saturday morning was unexpectedly bright and sunny. I woke up early in the van because of the light shining through the roof hatch, but I can confirm at 7:16 a.m. everyone else seemed to be asleep, apart from the horses in the next field, although even a couple of those were having a lie-in. It was pretty blustery though. There was smoke coming from the bar area, which turned out to be an ingenious oven and grill custom built in the style of a steam traction engine. How fantastic is that? Sausages, eggs, bacon and beans were all on offer for a reasonable fee. I had been intending to have cornflakes, but I couldn't resist. And a cup of tea, of course. After breakfast, tables were set up for the bring and buy sale, although sadly only Mandy actually had any knickknacks on offer, I think because there weren't very many vans attending the event. One trader also had a stand with some nice cards. And someone was flogging random bits of seats. I pottered back to the van and watched some YouTube while digesting my food.
It's been a really good system for me, And this little bag right here, it's pretty lightweight, it's relatively inexpensive, but it is worth its weight in gold.
Then I went to look around the other vans. This is a self-builders meet-up event, and this first one is certainly very much under construction. Some sound deadening and battening done. The 12-volt wiring is largely in place around the sides and roof, and there's insulation too. But while a bed frame has been bolted into place across the back, the chaps building this were sleeping on blow-up camp beds. This Mercedes caught my eye for its interior. Very open and spacious, the owners took the seats from their old caravan and reused them, which means they either work as is, as single beds, or can be turned into a massive double. Split across the back, there's a small kitchen with sink, fridge and hob, and plenty of cupboards down the side. The very back end is given to a shower and toilet area, with a portable toilet which can be lifted out when a shower is needed. A shower curtain stops everything around getting soaked, and the shower itself is a hose-lock garden sprayer which you fill with hot water and pump to pressurise. The rest of the end is given to storage, including a splendid loo roll holder on the door. How about this for an unusual conversion? It's a 1950s Morris Traveller van, originally used by the post office. The van part seems to have been modelled on Romany caravans, and it's all been handmade and is still a work in progress. Look at all the detail! There's a wood burner being installed, but opposite and hidden under here is a gas cooker. The bed pulls out to make a double. And it's all lined in this flowery fabric. Elsewhere, a more traditional campervan caught my eye, not least because I still hanker after a pop-top. This is a Vauxhall conversion, but it doesn't have the usual full-length side unit. Instead, the bed goes across the whole width at the back. There's a toilet hidden under the guest seat, cupboards to the side. They have their camping priorities sorted, clearly. This Ford Transit looks rather sexy, I think, as far as a van can be. Sleek anyway. I was curious to see inside because it's not that much longer than mine, but it does have the high top. There's a simple kitchen unit with water storage under and a microwave oven. Overhead cupboards all down the length of the van, much of this made out of pallet wood apparently. The bed is not only a short double across the width, but can also extend into the van for when a longer space is needed. The fridge slides out from under the bed. There's a toilet under there too, and here's the view of the garage from the back. Finally, a tiny van, a Nissan NV200, which was what I first tried to buy, but I couldn't find one in my price range. Again, a little side unit with sink and water under. To the side of the bed, such luxury, a fridge and freezer. The whole lot powered by a Clayton power bank. Apparently they make units for ambulances and the like. The rain came as predicted, so I took cover in my own van for a bit.
You may be wondering how my EcoTree lithium 320 amp hour, roughly 4 kilowatt hour battery is getting along.
Given that I only charge it from the 200 watts of solar on the roof, it's doing very well.
Well, admittedly I haven't done very much with it while I've been here, but it's been running the fridge, and I've made a cup of tea, haven't used the induction hob, And we've got 97%. It went down to 95 overnight. And I know that from the history graph. Let's try and bring that up. Not the history, the trends graph. Let's zoom out a bit on that. There we go. It was 100% at, what time does that say? 8 o'clock last night. And then all the light went. It went gently down to 94% overnight running the fridge. And then the sun came up at, well, that's saying 8:51, but it must have been about 8:51. It had enough oomph in it to start going back up again. I'm about to make another cup of tea, so it'll go down a bit, but that's pretty good going, I think. Easily coping with my demands, anyway. I was just finishing off a little doze when there was a knock at the door, and Mandy of Unadventurous Mandy was out there selling raffle tickets for the raffle tonight. So I've bought a strip of raffle tickets. Wish me luck.
The evening's entertainment began with the winner of the Quirkiest Campervan Award. Unfortunately, 2 vans had tied for first place. Initially, there was a cheer-off to see which van got the most applause. This failed to settle the score, so the owners of each van came up to the front, where battle would commence for the title, using the ancient tribal ritual of swing ball. The competitors proved to be the worst swing ball players I've ever seen, and eventually they split the winning cash prize instead of continuing. Then we got into the raffle, which was eagerly anticipated, not least because last year, I'm told, some of the prizes were of a, how can I put this, adult nature. The site owner shouted out ticket numbers, and each holder came up to claim a prize. But the twist was that the numbers kept on being called until every raffle ticket had been announced. But as there were no more prizes, each new winner would take their prize from someone else in the lineup. So just when you thought you'd won, another winner could choose you to take their prize from. Once no more tickets were left to call, whoever was left standing took the prize home. The best surely being a tube of Sikaflex sealant. It was a great night. Another early morning. The clouds were grey and the wind had picked up even more.
It is now Sunday morning, and I did briefly win a prize at the raffle yesterday, as did everybody. Because of the way the raffle worked, everybody's number got called, and everyone could then steal a prize off the people who were standing up, but then of course they could have the prize stolen off them. So it's the ones who ended up standing at the end who kept the prizes. And although I did go up briefly, I had a prize stolen from me, so I was not one of those who kept hanging on to it, but it was all good fun. It's Sunday morning now, and we're supposed to be out of here by 12. There's a couple of vans already started to go, so I'm just going to pack up my stuff. The roads are looking clear to go home, so I shall head off.
And I did, thankfully, with a clearer run back home.
Cheerio!